About to do my first harvesting of pickling cucumbers and to make some pickles.
Hello everyone, I'm Matt Dash, and welcome to A Dash of Green.
Let's just dive right in and harvest some pickling cucumbers. I'm just so proud of them. Look how perfect this one looks. Alright, I feel I picked enough. Now let's go ahead and get them cleaned up. I don't know if you've ever grown pickling cucumbers or went and bought any new from the store, but they have these little black spikes on them, and you got to make sure you get them all cleaned off before you use them. Just look at that one. It is the perfect specimen. First off, I start boiling a big pot of water. I'll let you know what's up with that in a little bit. Next, we start making the brine. You start out with 8 cups of water. Followed by 2 cups of white distilled vinegar. Next, the recipe calls for a half a cup of pickling salt. Sea salt works just as good. In the description, I will have a full list of ingredients as well as instructions on how to make these pickles. Now we're going to put it on the stovetop and bring it to the boil so that everything mixes together. Next, we're going to prep our cans. First thing you're going to do is you're going to put a clove of garlic in the bottom of each can, shelled of course. Next thing we need is some dill, so I figured the best thing to do is go out to my garden and pick some fresh. My dill plants look a little sparse because I had just recently harvested them, dried them out, and put them in some bottles, which will be in a later on video, but I felt that the dried out dill wouldn't have been as good for the pickles as fresh dill. Now we're going to put a few sprigs of the dill in the bottom of each can before we put any of the pickling cucumbers in there. This is pretty much to taste, but from what I've seen so far, the more the better. Alright, now it's time to get to slicing. Now with the slicing done, it's time to fill the cans. Now that the cans are filled, it's time to put another clove of garlic on the top of each one of them and some more sprigs of dill. Now they're all ready and prepped for the brine. We put the brine on to boil before we started prepping the cans and the pickling cucumbers themselves to give it enough time for the salt to dissolve into the brine, and it worked out pretty good. Now that it's all dissolved and everything is brought to a boil, it is time to start filling the cans. You want to fill the cans just to above that first ring, just to give it enough room for some air in there to be able to create the vacuum. And it's the vacuum that seals the cans. Now that they're filled, it's time to put on the lids. Now I give the cans one last twist just to make sure that they're good and tight. This is my first attempt at canning, so I had no idea what I needed. My pot wasn't near big enough, and you need a rack to be able to put the bottles down in there, because you don't want the bottles to be directly on the bottom of the pot. You need air to go around them so that they don't get too hot on the bottom. So I put these knives in there just to ensure that they stay above. You want to keep them in the boiling water for 15 minutes. Once 15 minutes is up, you take them out of the pot and you put them on a counter to cool. Now we just gotta wait for that sweet sound of the vacuum to pop. And there you have it, a perfect seal. Now the wait is on. You gotta wait 2 weeks for these things to be ready to be eaten, and believe me, they are amazing. They taste just like deli pickles.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope you had as much fun as I did. Until next time, keep your thumbs green.